This is the Barbados Today morning news for Thursday, May 25th. Thank you for joining us. I am Mary-Claire Williams. Economist Jeremy Stephen is warning of serious consequences if commercial banks' concerns over the tax clearance certificate are not addressed quickly. President of the Barbados Bankers Association, Donna Wellington, says the financial institutions will not be able to close any real estate transactions unless the process of obtaining a tax clearance certificate is clarified. Under the Amended BRA Act, effective March this year, individuals and corporations are required to be fully paid up to all branches of the state before obtaining a certificate. But Stephen says there could be implications for the depositors and the economy.
If one is to assume that real estate transactions amount to a significant part of the portfolio, let's make the assumption of between 40 to 50% of revenue. The interest charge on real estate transactions and processing fees and all the like administrative fees amount to around 50% of a bank's yearly income. Then it means that 50% goes to pay depositors, number one. So number two, if it is that revenue does fall and the bank isn't able to generate enough loan activity to using bank deposits or customers' deposits, it must mean that they will have less to pay customers, or eventually will have less to pay customers in the form of interest. So it would mean that savings rates could fall if this is dragging out for too long. If there's no clarity, say in a couple of months, you could expect an immediate drop in interest rates.
Meanwhile, Finance Minister Chris Sinckler is dismissing calls for the repeal of the amended Barbados Revenue Authority Act. Opposition leader Mia Motley had called for the legislation to be repealed in light of concerns by the commercial banks over the issuance of tax clearance certificates. Sinckler says the law will remain in place and government will not be bullied into repealing it. He added he is confident that any real or perceived challenges with the new system would be resolved, quote, once reasonable people sit down and work through the issues, unquote. The BRA and the Barbados Bankers Association are due to meet next Tuesday to address the bankers' concerns. In other news this morning, the National Union of Public Workers is questioning recent comments by Labour Minister Dr. Esther Byer-Suckoo over the payment of unemployment benefits. Earlier this week, Dr. Byer-Suckoo said unemployed individuals who refuse job placements and counseling from the National Employment Bureau should have their benefits discontinued. But the NUPW President Akani McDowell argues that any benefits paid would have been contributed by the same individuals who were seeking support while they were still employed. McDowell agrees that people should be encouraged to find work, but he says a hardline approach is not the way to go. LIAT passengers can expect normal operations at airports across the region today as planned industrial action by pilots have been averted. A statement from the airline's management gave assurances that services will not be disrupted today as previously announced. Management met with the pilots' representative, the Leeward Islands Airline Pilots Association, yesterday in a bid to iron out some outstanding issues. And following the talks, the pilots withdrew plans for protests. LIALPA had earlier threatened to stage sit-ins and picketing at various airports if they did not receive their salaries by midnight Wednesday. Relations between the two sides have been strained, and industrial action was averted at the 11th hour last month when an agreement was reached at a meeting with shareholder governments.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Who calling? Get your yams and potatoes. Wait, my girl, how you want to see you for long?
I got how you keeping, but you don't sell the nation paper no more.
But that paper ain't selling. This month now I stop selling that. Look, one time I would have make a little dollar on the Sunday sun. But when Sunday night, I still trying to get the weather there.
Well, you know you can't call that the Sunday sun no more. You're going to call that Sunset News. Call at no time that news stale.
People complain that them ain't got nothing in it to read, and the price keep going up all the time. A woman abused me so sick the other day, telling me that she does read Barbados today online for free. I can't take that abusing soul, so I switched to my potatoes and yams.
Well, let me tell you, at pork selling, you got to raise pigs. How much for the yams?
Oh, 75 cents a pound.
Well, that's cheaper than that stale news. Give me...
How much you want?
a pound.
Only a pound? Anyhow, these eating real good. Let me wrap them up for you. Come.
The Barbados Today, news you can trust.
We're back now with news from the region, and we go to the Bahamas, where a new session of Parliament has opened following the election of a new government earlier this month. Governor General Dame Margaret Pindling delivered the throne speech, which outlined the government's plans for the country. We get the details in this report from ZNS News.
The Governor-General pointed out that the government will be well served by the large contingent of new faces in Parliament who will be assisted by those members with experience. She noted the government is fully committed to harnessing the energy of the Bahamian people and is determined to pursue policies that promote harmony and not division. Among those policies, encouraging religious leaders to invite the youth, particularly young men, to become fully engaged members of the spiritual community. And speaking of the youth, the Governor-General announced the government will implement a national skills register of Bahamians abroad who can assist in national development.
We will also seek to reduce total unemployment, which will improve the standard of living and the quality of life for all of our people of the Bahamas. We will address youth unemployment in collaboration with stakeholders through the implications of specialized programs that will equip our youth with essential job-related skills and provide employment opportunities.
The government's ambitious agenda of reform and modernization includes ministers being accountable and enacting and enforcing anti-corruption legislation for parliamentarians and public officers.
And finally, there were arrests in Britain and Libya on Wednesday as investigations continued into Monday's explosion in Manchester. Police moved swiftly to shut down a network around the Manchester suicide bomber amid reports that a second attack is imminent. Authorities say British-born Salman Abedi killed 22 people at a concert packed with children. More in this Reuters report.
The perpetrator, British-born Salman Abedi, was killed in the attack on an Ariana Grande concert at the Manchester Arena Monday night. Authorities in that city making 5 new arrests on Wednesday, following 1 the day before. Police in Tripoli arresting a brother of Abedi and his father. A spokesman for a local counterterrorism force saying the brother was suspected of having links to Islamic State militants and may have planned to attack the Libyan capital. Islamic State claimed responsibility for the Manchester bombing. The bomber's father spoke to Reuters in Tripoli on Wednesday, denying his son could have been involved in the attack.
The family is a bit confused because Salman doesn't have this ideology. He doesn't believe in these beliefs.
A short while later, the father was placed under arrest. British Interior Minister Amber Rudd saying the bomber recently returned from Libya, a French official adding Abedi had links to ISIS and probably visited Syria as well. A source telling Reuters British investigators are hunting for anyone who might have helped build the explosive device and who might have other devices at the ready.
That's news this morning. Remember, you can get more on our website, www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, and like us on Facebook. We're on Izumi Media in bus terminals and Screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also tune into Mix 96.9 FM for more news. I am Maricla Williams. Have a good morning.